Doctor who's been in practice how many years, Terry? 21st years young in practice. And I asked Dr. Terry to do profit because I think his mentality definitely exudes energy, power, and profit. So I want you to help me welcome to the stage Dr. Terry McCoskey. Woo!
Thank you. Adrian, I gotta agree. You know, it's one thing to talk in front of a group of your patients, but you see this room, this is a significantly different. My heart is coming out of my chest right about now. And I love hanging out with chiropractic people. I love the fact that I can bring my staff, my team here, and let them feel your energy as well. You are a good-looking crowd. Yeah, you're a good-looking. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah. You're a good-looking group of people. I spend a lot of time hanging around with chiropractors. I serve as a vice president in my state chiropractic association. So I love chiropractors because let's face it, we are weird. We're weird. I saw somebody today, you put this green powder in your water bottle and you were shaking it up to this goo. I saw this. Normal people don't do this. This is weird. You are weird. Get comfortable with that. Because that's how weird you are. You don't think that germs cause disease. And you don't think that babies should be polluted. And that makes you weird. And I would encourage you to roll and revel in your weirdness. In fact, the evidence is so strong. When you get this many weird people, freaky people in one room, you actually have the capacity to change the colors of the walls. You're that weird. Heidi called me and she said, hey, are you going to bring your team to Minnesota in January? And I'm thinking, and before I could say no, because right now there's another event going on down at Life University in Atlanta. And my wife is down there because my daughter and my new son-in-law are down there just starting their chiropractic education. So we were planning on going to Atlanta this weekend, which is now Plan B. That's where my wife is. And Heidi said, and before I could say no, we aren't coming, she said, because I would like for you to talk or speak about profit. And I'm not even sure why you asked me to speak about profit, because I know this. Also, I know about you. There are rooms or clinics in this room that are more profitable than the one I have. There are people that have been in practice for shorter amounts of time that are probably more profitable, or longer amounts of time that are more profitable. And she said, will you talk about profit? I think it's because we just raised our fees. On the call that I had before that one, she and I were discussing, and I didn't ask her permission either. We had a significant change in our mindset. And so in the world of scarcity and lack and unemployment and people can't do this, we raised our fees. And let me tell you a little bit about our practice. I'm in 21 years now. I graduated from Palmer College. I worked with a fellow for 5 years. He and I worked together. And then he retired, and I purchased that practice, and it became my own. I bought it in September of 1995 because we celebrated the chiropractic centennial the same year that I purchased this practice for what I thought then was an unbelievable amount of money. But it was a fabulous investment on our behalf. And that was in September, and it was a wonderful practice. I had been in there now 5 years. We were growing this business, he and I together. He had been in practice for 40 years. The practice was a wonderful mix of what was then called indemnity insurance and workers' compensation and personal injury, some cash-paying patients as well. But it was what you would consider to be your traditional chiropractic practice. And I purchased it in September. And by the end of that year, I knew that's not going to be my model of practice because I'm weird. And my wife and I had prayed about it. My team at the time we had prayed about it, and we were going to convert our practice to a cash-based practice in 1996. So we were going to let the calendar click over, and we were going to go to what we would consider an all-cash practice in 1996. And long story short, that's exactly what we did. But we don't call it cash practice anymore. We call it fee-for-service practice because not everybody pays by cash. Some people pay by check. Some people pay by credit card. And so that is when I started connecting the dots between profitability and passion. Thank you for your conversation, because it didn't feel right to me to be in a world where there was this intermediary between me and the people that we were caring for. And the finances and the barrier that created was just not acceptable to me anymore. And so we changed that aspect of our practice. And I know there are people in this room today who, again, are probably more profitable than we are. I also know there are people in the room that spent their last $50 to get here this weekend. And they don't know how they're going to make it. And they don't have the support structure. And so congratulations. Some of you may have guest ribbons on today for that very reason. And some of you are new members of CAS for that same reason. You're wishing things were different, and congratulations for taking the action steps necessary by getting here, because I know it's not easy for everybody. The other challenge when she said, hey, would you talk about profit, was she brought in Garrett Gunderson to talk to us yesterday. And did you love Garrett's conversation? Anybody? Good, because he totally stole my notes. Yeah, he did my talk. I hope you're happy, because I got nothing more for you, right? In fact, I had dinner with him last night, and I'm kind of staring him down. He knows he stole my notes. All that stuff, abundance versus consumer, that's all my stuff. He knows. And so I'm kind of staring him down, and he's looking at me like, I got to go first. Yeah, in fact, if you got his book yesterday, I'll come around at the end of the class. I will sign it too. Yeah. But what he introduced, in all honesty, if that's on tape, cut that out before he gets to see it. What I loved about his program, though, is that he brought into it that profit is more than just being about money. And that is a significant thing. We get wrapped up in what money does to people. Does money make people do weird stuff? Does money force people to make choices they'd never ever otherwise make? Does it turn them into people that they would never otherwise be or become? Money makes people weird. So here's the deal on money. The definition of profit has to do with the fact that there should be a surplus. There should be money left over. As a producer or as a provider, there should be money left over after you pay your wages, you pay your rent, you pay your overhead expenses. Profit is what's called left over at the time. And so that's not that hard. But if you look up the definition of profit in the dictionary, it also includes something that doesn't have anything to do with money. It has to do with being of service, of benefit, or of gain. And so you've all given up some time. I've given up some time. I hope our time together was profitable for you this weekend in the form of benefit or gain for you. And it might be a chunk of something that you got to realize about yourself this morning in the work exercises that we did. It might be a piece of conversation that you overheard at the table talk that we did at lunch. So I hope that the time you've invested here and the energy that it took you to get here was profitable for you. Because really that's all money is energy. Money is a reflection of the energy that you spend. And I know some of us, your energy expenditure today was extraordinary when you shared with us a part about your struggle. And so that expenditure for you should be beneficial. And I will tell you this, it was also beneficial for people that you don't know yet. So when we understand that the resources that we have are really just reflections of our energy. Isn't that something we have in the mindset that Garrett mentioned yesterday? We have this entitlement mindset in our culture. You know, there's something weird about spending $2 for a lottery ticket and exchanging it for $60 million. Does the universe tolerate that? What happens to the lottery winner very, very frequently? They hit the skids. Because they're not engineered, they're not equipped at that point to manage the energy that comes with $60 million that fast. And they crash and burn. And so when we understand the relationship between money and energy and amplification of our energy, $60 million would amplify you. Can we agree on that? If you drink a little bit and you got $60 million, you would drink a lot. If you're really kind of generous with the money you have now and you got $60 million, would you become more generous? So understand again, this thing called profit, this thing called money, is really just an amplifier of your energy. If you're a little bit of an idiot and you get rich, you will become a bigger idiot. If you're benevolent and loving and kind, then you get a little bit more money. It will amplify those things for you as well. So I want you to know that your energy is what is spent here. See, in our office we have this mindset. The money that we take in isn't our money. The spiritual component of money is significant as well. It's really not ours. In fact, this is not my suit of clothes. I didn't drive my car to get to the airport. The house I live in is really not my house. See, we think of money as a stewardship issue. These are things that are on loan to us for just a short time. Such a short time while we're on the planet. And my experience has been that the better I manage the things that I am blessed and entrusted with, the more of it I seem to have. That to me is profitable. The better we keep care, the better we steward the things that we're entitled to or blessed with, the more of it there seems to be to manage. So it's kind of a graduation, if you will. You know, there's something really weird about earning more money in a month than your dad makes in a year. Money makes people weird, and it forces us into mindsets that we would never otherwise attain. And so my message to you is to just go into your practice, or go back to your life, or go back to your spouse this weekend with the mindset and the understanding that it's really not even yours. And that the more you try to block it, or the more you try to retain it, or the more you try to put it away, and Garrett said this yesterday, where you put it dictates a lot of how much flows to you. And so understanding that it's just on loan to you, and that to keep it circulating and to reinvest it in yourself and your time and your talent is how you become truly profitable. Not just to yourself, not just to your own world, but to the world around you and the people that you touch on a daily basis. Einstein said it's not about becoming successful, it is about becoming a man of value. So I hope that our time together today was valuable to you. I hope it was profitable to you. I appreciate Heidi giving us the opportunity. You know, on the front end of this, I kind of felt like some of us are old enough to remember the Johnny Carson show. Yeah? Because on Johnny Carson, there would be this opportunity. All these young comedians would come on to the Johnny Carson show if he had time. And at the end of the last 3 minutes of the show, they kept these people back in the green room. And if there was time and an opportunity, that was their launch into fame or into stardom. Because if they were on the Carson show, they had made it, right? And so Heidi says, will you do this thing? And I'm kind of a bit concerned of the repercussions. Because I felt like I was kind of in the green room for a little while, like waiting for and it's nerve-wracking up here in front of you, your peers, you freaks, you weirdos. You're changing the color of the freaking wall. So understand that your profitability and your weirdness go hand in hand. And so I hope our time together was profitable. Thank you.